Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you another video. All right, so we've already talked Celtics Bucks. I gave you the prediction on that. Now I'm gonna go into another series here. The Grizzlies are going up against the Golden State Warriors, and that series begins today in Memphis. Memphis actually has home court advantage in that series. So I, like the other, haven't broke it down. So we're gonna come to a real conclusion right here in real time. As I look at these two teams on their surface, the thing that first pops out to me is how well these two teams are on the defensive side of the ball. They both play very good defense. And the thing that makes me also intrigued is the fact that there is really, really elite shooting on both sides of the ball. You think about Desmond Bain, who's shooting over 42% on the year. You think about Stephen Clay, Jordan Poole. That's all you need to hear. So, Jordan Poole's elbow. Now, the Golden State Warriors have all the depth in the world, so that even if Jordan Poole was to not play a single game in this series, they should still be confident that they can do what they need to do to be competitive. But the problem with Jordan Poole is they rely upon him a lot for reasons that seem like vanity reasons, to be honest with you. They like him. He's a fresh new kid. He takes pressure off of Clay and Steph, who are fighting back injury. And, it's just a shiny new toy at the end of the day. Okay? This is what this is. We love his game, but I think he's taking too much punishment defensively, and I've expressed that to you guys more than once. Too much punishment. Here's another thing that concerns me about the Golden State Warriors in this situation. Draymond Green. Draymond's been great. Nothing wrong with Draymond Green. Problem is what he's supposed to be responsible for. Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, Steven Adams was removed from the other game. He also is in health and safety protocol. I do expect him to be back at some point in time in this series, but he hasn't had much of a role for obvious reasons. Well, maybe not obvious reasons. They removed him from the series because they needed help stretching the floor, and that could be a problem for the Golden State Warriors series as well. So I'd imagine he ain't gonna play much there either. So, and he's on a very big contract, so that's a big deal, by the way, for the Memphis Grizzlies. But I'm sure he'll get somewhere in the series, in these playoffs if they advance. So, basically, this is the deal. Ja Morant is a superstar, super duper star. But the one thing that I was able to see in watching him play the Minnesota Timberwolves series was that he is not an elite shooter. He's good. He ain't elite. And I don't know what that means for this series, if it means anything at all. But what I correlate that to is the fact that he's going up against elite shooting. You're going to have to shoot an efficient amount against this team. Now, granted, Ja Morant is going to help you in many different areas. He's going to help you on the defensive side of the ball, and he's definitely going to facilitate as well. He slashes so well to the basket, so I'm not really worried about his efficiency per se. But that three-point shot, it's got to fall. It's got to fall. Another player I'm looking at in this series is Zaire Williams. Why? Because he's hurt. Because I don't know what his status is going to be in this series. And I look at that Golden State Warriors team, and they have a bunch of forwards, young guys that they're going to continue to throw at you guys. If you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you need Zaire Williams in rotation because you want every one of your forwards to go up against every one of their forwards. We're talking about forwards like for the Warriors, we're talking about GP2. He's not a forward, but you know what I'm saying. Wings. Andrew Wiggins, if they choose to use him. Moody, obviously Steph Clay, not forwards, but again, you know what I'm trying to say here. Jordan Poole, Juan Toscano Anderson, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green. It's a lot of players that you have to deal with on the wing if you're the Memphis Grizzlies. So they're going to need the Zaire Williams. They're going to need Slow Mo. They're going to need everybody there. Obviously, Brandon Clark. Segue into Brandon Clark and how fantastic he's been. You guys have been hearing me talk about Brandon Clark at length. I'm really, really happy with his production over the last couple of games. Throughout these playoffs, he's been excellent. Offensive rebounding, energy personified. If he continues to be infectious like that on the offensive glass, he's going to create a lot of problems for the Golden State Warriors. This is a series where I would feel a lot better if Wiseman were in rotation. Now, I know Wiseman is a player who's not in rotation. He's hurt, and he's not going to be here in these playoffs. But he's a very tall, offensive-minded center who can block some shots, of course. His length would really help them against the Jaren Jacksons and the Xavier Tillmans and people like that they're going to have to deal with on that glass. Draymond's going to be asked to bang again. Now, he's already coming off of 5 games banging with Jokic. That's a lot of punishment. Now he's got to do with Jaren Jackson. It's an entirely different beast. Stronger. I don't know if he's stronger than Jokic, but he moves different. He's banging off of you. He's throwing elbows around. He's running a lot. This is a series where I'm going to be leaning on Jonathan Kuminga a little more. Want Scott Anderson a little more. I'm going to try to buy myself some Draymond Green rest anywhere I can. Because at the end of the day, you're going to need him to be fresh for the end of the series. And I'd imagine this series could go a very long way. I don't think it's going to be a short series, you guys. I can tell you that now. But in the event that they win the series, you're going to need him for the next series and the series after that. And I just don't trust that the forwards on the back behind Draymond Green are going to be able to keep up with the elite guys that are going to be coming down the pipeline, including Jaren Jackson. So that's my thing. I think that the Warriors would be wise to keep everybody, all their bigs, in very, very, very safe rotation. Kevon Looney's extremely important in this series, especially you look at how they've been playing the glass. The Memphis Grizzlies did a great job on the glass against some really good rebounders in Minnesota. You think about Jared Vanderbilt's one of the best rebounders out there, and they neutralized him. So it's going to be important for the Warriors to control the glass. Draymond, fountain of youth time, baby. you got to run, man. You're gonna have to really push. Get your rest, drink your water, because it's gonna be a move. But the good thing about it is no altitude. They did Denver. They got through that, and that will not be the case for the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis holds a great home court. That grindhouse, they do not play games in there. They got a lot of energy. The momentum is high. They've had an emotional year, and I expect them to push their team. And the problem is, that don't matter against Golden State Warriors. See, home court matters against most teams, but not when you're dealing with Steph and Clay. They've been through too many wars. They've won more games than everybody, basically. So what it really comes down to is the experience of the Golden State Warriors versus the inexperience of the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies had mental mistakes against the Minnesota Timberwolves that were very glaring. And even though they were able to get away with them, they definitely will not get away with them against the Splash Brothers. Fouling. Jaren Jackson found himself in foul trouble pretty much the entire series. If that happens, the series ain't going to last very long. He needs to find a way to stay on the floor. And even though he's a fantastic defensive player, he must be active offensively as well. He's going to have to put up some points because Golden State's going to put up a lot of points. Simple as that. Dylan Brooks, your efficiency is essential. You're going up against the Warriors, bro. 1 for 10 from 3 in Game 5, no good. No good. You're going to have to shoot better. Maybe take a couple steps in, maybe drive to the basket. I know he's a fantastic driver of the basketball. I wouldn't say be hesitant shooting threes, but pick them wisely because he hasn't been efficient and he takes possessions away from his team. And the only reason why they were able to make up for that is because of the offensive rebounding of said Brandon Clark. So we need to make sure that Brooks stays aggressive but becomes efficient. Because if he goes left in this series, Golden State will win the series. Desmond Bane has to shoot well. He's been shooting well. It's who he is. Buff Reggie Miller is what I call him. I think that's a real thing. I would not be surprised if he goes toe-to-toe with Klay Thompson because he has that type of talent. He's not Klay Thompson, but he can hit his threes. So Desmond Bane, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, that's going to be fun to watch him jack up shots. I think the thing about it is, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think both teams need to not fall in love with the three-point shot to a degree where if it's not falling, pass it up. We've seen great shooters go on long scoring droughts. We've seen Steph Curry go on a scoring drought this year. He couldn't throw a rock in the ocean for almost a month. If something like that were to occur in this series, Memphis wins. Simple as that. Neither team can afford to give up any points. Both teams play defense very well. Both teams are capable of putting up a lot of points on the board, so both teams must score. Simple as that. Both teams must play both sides. This is not going to be an easy series for either team. If the Golden State Warriors think for 1 second that team of young players ain't going to come in here and run them crazy, they're out of their minds. If Steve Kerr really wants to give himself a chance, he'll lean on his youth more in this series. Lean on them. I know he doesn't like playing Moses Moody for whatever reason, but I think it's a mistake. Moses Moody is a lottery pick. He can play, bro. You got to keep him in rotation. You got to put him out there. Because that depth is going to help you. And I ain't saying play him 20, 30 minutes. I'm just saying make sure he gets his minutes because he will put some points on the board. He's going to at least give you 9 points. And if you give him starters minutes, he probably get 18, 20 points. He's a really good player. He's just not getting – he just got drafted to the wrong place. I'm not going to play with you. It's not that he can't grow there. He can certainly grow there. In fact, he's in a great place for experience. Playing with the Splash Brothers, come on, it's a great experience. But in terms of getting a chance to show what you can do, it's in the wrong spot. It's in the wrong spot. But that doesn't mean that coach can't give him an opportunity and seize that. See that he is in the wrong spot and give him an opportunity he otherwise shouldn't get. It's smart of you to do so. So, always scream that. Kuminga, those guys are important. Even though their inexperience could hurt them, their youth on the glass is necessary. Injuries for the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, we talked about the elbow. It's noted that Klay Thompson is still dealing with an Achilles that kept him out for 2 years. Steph Curry's constantly battling back from something or another, even though he looks pretty good right now. It's one of those situations where you just want him to stay healthy. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And that worries me. You know, I think about this Golden State Warriors team going up against the Memphis Grizzlies in the second round. It's like, man, it's too early for them to be going up against a team full of youngsters. The oldest player on this team is what? Steven Adams, who ain't even there. Ain't nothing but kids, man. So while that inexperience should work in the Golden State's favor, if Golden State start taking on some injuries, that's bad. The Memphis Grizzlies have been the second best team in the Western Conference all season long. That means they've been better than the Golden State Warriors. That's exactly what that means. That means they won more games than Golden State Warriors. That means they beat the Golden State Warriors 3 out of 4 times they saw them in this season. Don't let that go past you. The Memphis Grizzlies won the season series 3-1. And that is something we should take into account, even though that doesn't always go the way that you think it should. In the playoffs, I've seen teams that lost all 4 win. I've seen teams sweep teams that they didn't win a game against in the regular season. I've seen that happen. So don't think that can't take place. But what I'm telling you is there's something to be said for matchups, and the Golden State Warriors did not match up very well against the Memphis Grizzlies in the regular season. Now, granted, Jordan Poole didn't have the role that he has right now. You know what I'm saying? They've developed some guys. Guys have come back. Klay Thompson's in a much stronger role, obviously. I don't even know if he was back for a lot of those games. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. But Memphis has seen the ball fall against the Golden State Warriors. And since they're at home, that's a thing. So, yeah, I'm going to say this. I think this series is going the distance. I think you're going to get a whole 7 games out of this series. And the fact of the matter is this game, if it does go 7 games, it's in Memphis. So the Golden State Warriors are going to have to win games in Memphis in order to win this series. Just like Memphis is obviously going to have to win games in San Francisco. But I think at the end of the day, if Memphis didn't win a single game in San Francisco, all they have to do is take care of home court and they win Game 7, they win the series. The point is, the Golden State Warriors have to go into the grindhouse and win victory and win a game. And I think that I trust them to do that. I felt very confident against them, with them going up against Denver, a shorthanded Denver. In Denver, in altitude, I picked them to win games there. They got it done. The Memphis Grizzlies are coming off of playing a series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, a young team that run, but makes a lot of mistakes. The Golden State Warriors, I don't expect to make half of those mistakes. And the Golden State Warriors got a bunch of players who can run, too, if they decide to put them on the floor. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they ain't going to get rattled by anything. They're going to splash you no matter what the crowd is doing. The problem is Desmond Bane's going to come back at you. Ja Morant is going to put people in foul trouble. Ja Morant slashing at the basket, foul trouble. Jaren Jackson's going to be effective defensively, but to what degree of threes are splashing over his head? He's going to have to play the perimeter very well. I see how that's going. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a good perimeter player. That's the good thing about him. He's one of those centers that you can keep on the floor shooting threes while threes are being shot over him. That's why he hasn't been removed from the series like Steven Adams was. So I don't think that's going to be as big of a problem. But how you guard the three-point line is going to be important, not fouling three-point shooters. These are 3 of the best shooters in the game. So if you foul them shooting threes, or if you appear to foul them shooting threes, you're giving up 4 points. So I think guarding the perimeter and not fouling the perimeter are just as important. They're one and the same. If you're going to go out there and you're fouling people, you might as well not go out there at all. So, 3-point perimeter defense. That perimeter defense is going to be the discipline there for both teams, especially the Memphis Grizzlies. If you stay disciplined behind the perimeter on both sides of the ball, both shooting efficiently and guarding it properly, that team should win the series. So that's what I got. I don't know why I don't want to pick Golden State. If you guys are checking, you see I'm leaning toward Golden State, but I just don't want to pick them. I really don't. And the reason why I don't really want to pick them is because I look at Jaren Jackson, I look at Draymond Green, and I just think that that's going to be a tough matchup for Draymond, having to bang up against that young guy. That's going to be a big problem. And in offensive glass, talking about guys like Brandon Clark pushing on the offensive glass. Do I think Kuminga's going to push him off the glass? Do I think Andrew Wiggins is enough to offset what may be coming from Slow-Mo and Zaire Williams? I just think that the issue is the Splash Brothers have to shoot well. And granted, you trust them to do so it's not a problem. But if for some reason they're not shooting well, if for some reason they get cold performances, I look at the Memphis Grizzlies as a stronger team. They're physically stronger. That's the thing. I look at Desmond Bain. He's big. He's going to push Clay around. Clay's a strong guy, but Clay's an older guy. Desmond's going to be a problem. Like I said, Brooks, if he's efficient, he's a hellified player on both sides of the floor. He's causing all kinds of trouble and getting to the line all the time. Giles a triple-double threat at all times. He's also crashing the boards, doing things defensively. Slow-Mo comes in on your bench. Maybe you've let down Steph and Clay. Now you got Wiggins in the game. You got Slow-Mo versus Wiggins. How does that matchup go? Maybe you're putting in other players. How do the benches play against one another? All of these things, the Tyus Jones of the world, John Conchar, the guys that they play in the back of the bench. When do they use them? What's Taylor Jenkins' plan? These are things I just don't have any answer for. But what I will say is Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole versus Dillon Brooks, John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bain. Maybe you want to throw in Andrew Wiggins or something like that to make it even. I just think it's going 7 games. I think it's going 7 games, and I'm taking Golden State. I'm going to take Golden State because I trust them to win games on the road. I trust Steph and Clay. They've won too many championship series. They've won too many series in their lives to find themselves in a situation where they got a close matchup with kids that have never been there before and to lose that matchup. I don't see it. It's going to be the Golden State experience that wins them the series. Because they have enough youth to keep up with most of the youth that the Memphis Grizzlies are throwing at them. They do. They got enough runners out there. As long as they lean on the Kumingas, lean on the Juan Castano Anderson, lean on Gary Payton II. You play those guys, they're good, healthy minutes. Jordan Poole's 100%. You play those guys at good, healthy minutes against those Memphis Grizzlies, and they play good team defense together, I give them a good chance of winning this series against the Grizzlies. But if those guys have off series, and it's only the Golden State Warriors' top guys, and they're getting nothing from their bench, Memphis should win that series. It's going to be about those other guys at Golden State keeping up with those other guys from Memphis because they play so well. Tyus Jones. Pay very close attention to him because if he is shooting the ball well, his three-point shooting can offset some of what Golden State's doing. You know what I mean? Him and Zaire Williams, those two players, they really can shoot the ball. So I'm looking at them on Memphis. Obviously, Bain is important as well, shooting. But those are the two others on Memphis. Like, if they have a huge series, it's going to be a big problem. So it's about as even as it gets. If y'all can't tell, this is a very even matchup. I expect it, like I said, to go 7. Golden State in 7. I'm going to leave it at that. As far as the first game is concerned in Memphis, since we're talking about the series, today's first game, you talk about first games, there's a lot of different things that can be the catalyst for what does it. But it's a tone setter. It's a tone setter. I'm gonna take Memphis winning the first game. Even though I got Golden State winning the series, I'm going to say Memphis wins today. I'm going to say Memphis wins today because what you have here is Golden State who hasn't played in a long time. They ain't played in a while since their series ended like 5 days ago. And then you're looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, who just played 2 nights ago, fresh legs. Now, if they were old men, I'd be like, oh, they just played a few days ago. That's bad. For these kids, oh no, that's good. They're in a lather. They're feeling fresh. They're ready to go. And I think home court's going to push them against a Golden State Warriors team that's going to have to wake up for this series. They just got off a plane, landed in Memphis or what have you. They're going to have to wake up for this series. They're dealing with a hostile environment, far away from home. I expect the Golden State Warriors to drop this game. Close game, but I expect Memphis to win the game. And that's that. Just a one-game situation. And then, of course, we'll talk about the games as they go forward. But Golden State in 7, man. That's what I got. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.